pollution is a combination of chemical and trash, most of which come from land sources and is washed or blown into the ocean. This pollution results in damage to the environment, to the health of organisms, and to economic structure worldwide. Marine pollution is a growing problem in today's world. Our ocean is being flooded with two main types of pollution, such as chemical and trash. Chemical contamination of nutrient pollution is concerning for health, environmental, and economic reasons. This type of pollution occurs when human activity, notably the use of fertilizer on farm, lead to the runoff of chemical into waterways that ultimately flow into the ocean. The increased concentration of chemicals such as nitrogen and phosphorus in the coastal ocean promotes the growth of algae blooms, which can be toxic to wildlife and harmful to humans. The negative effect on health and the environment caused by algae blooms hurt local fishing and tourism industry. Marine trash encompasses all manufactured products, most of them plastic, that end up with the ocean. Literary storm winds and poor waste management all contribute to the accumulation of the debris, 80% of which come from source on land. Types of marine debris include various plastic items like shopping bags and beverage bottles, along with bottle caps, food wrap, and fishing gear. Plastic waste is particularly problematic as a pollutant because it is so long-lasting. Plastic items can take hundreds of years to decompose. This trash poses danger to both humans and animals. Fish become injured in the debris, and some animals mistake items like plastic bags for food and eat them. Small organisms feed on tiny bites on broken down plastic, called microplastic, and absorb the chemical from the plastic into their tissue. Microplastics are less than 5 milliliters in diameter and have been detected in a range of marine species, including plankton and whales. When small organisms that contain microplastic are eaten by large animals, the toxic chemical then become part of their tissue. In this way, the microplastic pollution migrates up the food chain, eventually becoming part of the foods that humans eat.
There are many causes of ocean pollution. Of all the facts, there is one constant. Most pollution in our oceans begins on land and is caused by humans. Here are some of the major causes of marine pollution. 80% of pollution to the marine environment comes from the land. One of the biggest sources is called non-point source pollution, which occurs as a result of runoff. Non-point source pollution includes many small sources like septic tanks, cars, trucks, and boats, plus larger sources such as farms, ranches, and forest areas. Non-point source pollution comes from a variety of different locations and sources. The result of this is runoff, which occurs when rain or snow moves pollutants from the ground into the ocean. For instance, after a heavy rainstorm, water flows off roads into the ocean, taking oil left on streets from cars with it. Millions of motor vehicle engines drop small amounts of oil each day onto roads and parking lots. Much of this to make its way to the sea. Some water pollution actually starts as air pollution, which settles into waterways and oceans. There can be a pollutant. Topsoil or silt from fields or construction sites can run off into waterways, harming fish and wildlife habitats. Manufacturing plants in some areas of the world release toxic waste into the ocean, including mercury, making its way up to larger species consumed by humans. Agricultural toxins can be direct biological hazards and rise ocean temperatures, which can be deadly for some animals and plants. While it's intentionally being released into the sea, which also contributes to ocean pollution, as well as plastic products. Discharge of plastic is another problem. According to Ocean Conservancy, 8 million metric tons of plastic goes into our oceans every year, which doesn't degrade easily, are in the world's oceans. Discarded fishing nets and other plastics can entangle wildlife, potentially restricting their movement, injuring or even starving them. Dolphins, turtles, crabs, crocodiles, sharks, and seabirds are especially vulnerable. The last causes of sea pollution that I will talk about is oil spill. Ships are major contributors to ocean pollution, especially when crude oil spills occur. Crude oil lasts for years in the ocean and is difficult to clean up. All spills that happen in rivers, bays, and the ocean most often are caused by accidents involving tankers, barge, pipelines, refinery, drilling rigs, and storage facilities, but also occur from recreational boats and marinas. Most oils float on the ocean's saltwater or fresh water from rivers and lakes. Oil usually spreads out rapidly across the water surface to form a thin oil slick. As the oil continues spreading, the slicks become thinner and thinner, finally becoming a very thin sheen which often looks like a rainbow. In rare cases, very heavy oil can sometimes sink.
Assalamualaikum and hi to Puan Hazlin and everyone. My name is Wan Erdina Sofea binti Wan Aziz Shah. My matrix number is F1065. Today I would like to present about effect of ocean pollution. Ocean pollution has many consequences that directly and indirectly affect marine life, as well as human. Here are some of the most common effects of ocean pollution. Firstly, harmful to marine animals. Sea animals are common victims of ocean pollution. Oil spill, for instance, will ensnare and suffocate marine animals by permitting their gills. When the oil gets into seabird feeders, they may not be able to fly or feed their young. Animals that are not killed by crude oil may suffer from cancer, behavioral changes, and become unable to reproduce. Marine animals also mistake small plastic debris for food or become entangled in or strangled by plastic bags and discarded fishing nets. Animals most vulnerable to harm from plastic debris in the ocean include dolphin, fish, sharks, turtle, seabirds, and crabs. Secondly, depletion of oxygen in seawater. X-axis, debris in the ocean slowly degrades. Over many years, it uses oxygen to do so, resulting in less CO2 in the ocean. Low level of oxygen in the oceans lead to the deaths of ocean animals such as penguin, dolphins, whales, and sharks. Excess nitrogen and phosphorus in seawater also cause oxygen depletion. When a great deal of oxygen depletion occurs in area of the ocean, it can become a dead zone where no marine life can survive. Thirdly, a threat to human health. Pollutants in the ocean make their way back to human. Small organisms ingest toxic are eaten by largest predators, many of which are seafood that we eventually eat. When the toxic in contaminated animal get deposited in human tissue, it can long-term health conditions, cancer, and birth defects. Next, ocean pollution is widespread, worsening, and poses a clear and present danger to human health and well-being, but the extent of this danger has not been widely comprehended until now. Our recent study provides the first comprehensive assessments of the impacts of ocean pollution on human health. Lastly, the most common effect of the sea pollution is plastic pollution. Hundreds of thousands of marine animals get entangled in plastic waste each year, especially in ghost gear, which limits their motion and their ability to feed and causes injuries and infection. Less visible is the devastation that occurs through in the ingestions of plastic. Seabird, turtles, fish and whales commonly mistake plastic waste for food because some has a similar color and shapes to their prey. Floating plastic also accumulates microbes and algae on the surface that give it an odor that appeasing to some sea animals. Once animals consume it,
Ingested plastic can pierce internal organs or cause fatal intestinal blockades. It also leads to starvation because a stomach crammed with plastic gives an animal the illusions of being full. Plastic waste is the most visible component of ocean pollution. More than 10 million tons of plastic enter the seas every year. The majority of this breaks down into microplastic particles and accumulates in coastal and deep sea sediments. Some large pieces float in the water for decades, ending up as massive concentrations when currents coverage and circulate.
Each year, human activity erodes marine life in some way, essentially polluting the ocean. It becomes complicated to ignore the gravity of ocean pollution. Everyone can do something to help solve the problem, but how can we stop the sea pollution? Here's the solution that I can share with you guys. Number 1, reduce your use of single-use plastic. Wherever you live, the easiest and most direct way that you can get started is by reducing your own use of single-use plastic. Single-use plastic include plastic bags, water bottle, straw, cups, utensil, dry cleaning bags, take-out containers, and any other plastic item that are used once and then discarded. The best way to do is by refusing any single-use plastic that you do not need. When you refuse single-use plastic item, it will help businesses by letting them know that you would like to them offer alternative. Number 2, support legislation to cut plastic production and waste. As important as it is to change our individual behavior, such change alone are insufficient to stop ocean plastic pollution. We also need legislation that reduce plastic production, improve waste management, and makes plastic producers responsible for the waste they generate. There are a variety of ways that you can support local, national, and international legislation that provide critical solutions to reduce plastic pollution. One such effort in the United States is the 2021 Break Free from Plastic Pollution, a comprehensive federal bill that aims to address the plastic pollution crisis, and there are a number of state-level initiatives to introduce a standard producer responsibility legislation that makes plastic producer and distributor responsible for their products and packaging at the end of life. Next, participate in or organize a beach or river cleanup. You guys can help remove plastic from the ocean and prevent them from getting there in the first place by participating in organizing a cleanup of your local beach or waterway. This is one of the most direct and rewarding ways to fight ocean plastic pollution. You can simply go to the beach or waterway and collect plastic waste on your own with your friends or family, or you guys can join a local organization cleanup or an international event. Number 4, avoid product containing microbeads. Tiny plastic particles called microbeads have become a growing source of ocean plastic pollution in recent years. Microbeads are found in some face scrub, toothpaste, and body wash. These microbeads can now be found in the world ocean as far away from human habitation as the Arctic, trapped in the diminishing sea ice, floating in the water columns, and being consumed by all of marine life. Avoid product containing plastic microbeads by looking for polyethylene and polypropylene on the ingredient labels of your cosmetics products. Last but not least is speak up. The first step we should take is to simply spread the cause is the people need to understand the effect of their action and how we will eventually suffer from the pollution. Social media is a great way to get the message out to a wider demographic. Even if your platform only reach a few hundred people, every little change helps. Perhaps the easiest way to raise awareness is living by example. Only drink from a reusable water bottle, use canvas bag at the grocery store, and always recycle. If you want to save our ocean, every person needs to know and understand the cause. The value that must be present in society is to always be aware of the development or any activity organized by the government or non-government in a joint effort to preserve and conserve our sea.
In conclusion, human activity have proven to affect the marine ecosystem, and care must be taken to prevent the degradation of marine life. We all can start off by first cleaning the ocean water and taking measures measures to prevent ocean pollution. As ocean pollution has caused in serious deformity of various marine organisms, and since we depend upon the resources from the ocean, we are obliged to make the ocean pollution-free. Additionally, fishing practices such as dynamic fishing should be banned and alternative solutions must be provided to the fishermen who depend fishing for life. Awareness must be raised regarding the effect of such fishing practice among the people, as well as rules and regulations to be made and enforced upon people to use correct form of fishing. The only way we can prevent global warming is by making use of renewable resources, educating people, and saving energy. By preventing global warming, we are preventing the increase in sea level and potential extinction of marine species.
So, the value of the effects of sea pollution that we can get is responsibility. Be a human who is responsible for sea pollution by always being aware of the life in the sea, realizing and be compassionate towards sea life, because sea life also wants to live the same as human life.